責任を負うものについて話したことがありましたね。あの時の私には分かりませんでしたが、今なら理解できます。大人としての責任と義務、そしてその延長線上にあったあなたの選択、それが意味する心ばえも。ですから先生、私が信じられる大人であるあなたになら、このねじれて歪んだ先の終着点とはまた別の結果を。だから先生、どうか。
Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the MALT Quarterfinals weekend. We're back at it for the biggest block of the weekend, starting it off with Kyosu taking on SHABEST for a shot at the second half of Quarterfinals weekend. This is indeed a loser's bracket matchup. We will be saying goodbye to one of these two players before the end of this hour. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Mifa. Mifa, how you doing?
Hello. I'm doing fantastically well, especially we're coming into the near end of the quarterfinal, especially for these two players, where whoever actually goes to win this is going to be going into the top 12, it seems, going to the semifinals round. So whoever loses this is also saying goodbye for the rest of the MALT, especially.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty close matchup between these two, you would imagine. Pretty hard warm-ups to start them off with as well. It's very interesting seeing what the players decide to go for on picks sometimes.
It looks like with the looking at the warm-up, that is pretty much on the harder end of the spectrum, which, you know, lots of chords and then some elements in between. This would be just it goes completely insane. It's probably even harder than the quarterfinals round.
Yeah, for sure, but I guess it gives them a good little barometer to work with in terms of how far they can push some of the more physically demanding maps in this pool. See if they can get away with going for some of the harder picks, or seeing if they have to play a little bit more reserved. Maybe go for some of the more straightforward maps in this pool.
A lot of complicated patterns in just one showcase of a map. Really, it's to be expected that these players are able to handle such physicality to maintain at least some respect into the quarterfinals pick. This would be pretty even matchup, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. We're starting. Oh wow, 922 the difference between these two. Despite all the misses being traded back and forth, double A ranks. This is probably going to be one of the closer matchups we have had in terms of skill level between these two players. We've already had a couple of tiebreakers this weekend. Hopefully, we get to continue that trend as we move on into the roles.
These rolls are going to be interesting. Kyosu had a pretty high roll with a 78. That's 22% chance of losing that. And I mean, SHABEST did have a 23, basically just one off, but it's a pretty stark difference. So Kyosu will take the first pick, and SHABEST will probably have to figure out what goes for the ban to maintain at least some strategy here.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to see the ban starts to come out. LN4 being removed from the pool. A very popular ban so far this weekend. Everybody wanting to stay away from that particular one. And Rice One going to be removed from the pool as well.
Interesting choices for bans. I mean, not too surprising at best. LM4 has been quite kind of the popular. You don't really want to play this and just avoid it straight away. By avoiding it just means you don't want to make sure that your opponent is going to capitalize off that. And Rise 1 is an interesting one because you don't normally see this kind of ban, especially when you're physically handled enough to able to hit the patterns really well.
Yeah, for sure. But judging by how the chat went going into that ban, it might be a case of just kind of picking something to get rid of in the pool, as opposed to a targeted, strategic ban. And first pick coming out here is going to be Hybrid 1 to start things off here.
Yeah, this is definitely the easier than the warm-up that we just had, so I feel like this would just be a battle of accuracy at most. You've seen SHABEST had a pretty stark differences in 200s and maybe winning a little bit on the ratio, but taking into account that this is also easier, so you would sharpshoot this to the best of your ability, it might have been still pretty close overall.
And as we wait for Kios to download the map,
Oh, a side read.
yeah, I think they're going into this blind, which is a bold strategy. Have almost seen it work out this weekend already. I know another player in this tournament, in this round, did not practice the map pool at all, and they took it to tiebreaker.
Still waiting on the actual pick to be at least downloaded. Hopefully there's no other issues more than that. Still be able to play, even though with kind of a side read experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think they can work their way through some of the structures in this map a little bit easier than some of the other picks in this pool. Not the most difficult to read through, but definitely can give you a bit of an issue if you're not too careful.
Seems it's going to be soon-ish. Waiting for the hype to be able to download the whole chart.
You know, it's always these kind of situations where it feels like it goes longer despite having the estimated time, and it looks like the MP Star Command does come out.
The anticipation for
Yes.
this for this entire pick to be downloaded, and it might have been a problem in the later picks, because I'm not sure if Kyosu did download the other picks, not just this one, so we'll see.
Oh, they should probably just queue them up and have them ready as they play through some of the maps. And we get into this first map of this best of 11. As a reminder, first player to 6 points will be moving on to the second half of quarterfinals to face off against Era Jungle. Before this weekend is over, loser will be eliminated from the tournament, and Kyoso finding the first drop in this introduction as they just crossed that 400 combo cap.
Does seem to have a little bit more penalized, especially with the lower accuracy overall. Not just the miss, but he's traded back in, and actually a couple of misses by SHABEST actually.
Yeah, they lose the accuracy lead and the score lead for them, but Kyosu does find a couple of drops in return as they transition out of that section into the second third of the chart now, and what was a slender 1,000 point lead turns into a 6,000 point deficit in favor of SHABEST as they both start to make the recovery runs back up to that 400 combo cap to try and really pull away here.
Kyosu did recover pretty nicely. SHABEST actually taking a draw, so the lead is pretty much equalized.
And another one to boot. That's going to swing the lead back on over to the red side going into the last third of the chart. Kyoso now holding on to about 0.3% in terms of accuracy lead, and now an 11,000 point score lead as well. I mean, we've seen some wild swings already this weekend. Not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. Last quarter of the map left to go. SHABEST finding another drop, and both of them holding that roll very well. And on we go. Last lever chart still left to go here. Kyoso is still holding on to, now crossing 1,000 combo and able to really extend this lead, and is bordering on the line of uncatchable. And that last drop from SHABEST might be the final nail in the coffin for their run. And Kyoso going to pick up the first point in this match to make it 1-0. Alrighty, so Kyoso able to sight read through their first pick in this pool. SHABEST up to pick now to try and maintain parity between the two players. And it looks like it's going to be Rice 2 coming through for them. So going right into Lunar, our Chord Stream map. And this has been a pretty contentious pick for a lot of the players, at least when they go through it in match. So now we'll see. Looks like the download was a lot faster this time around. Won't have to wait as long to get into the map this time around. At least hopefully. Alrighty, so just waiting on the players to ready up this time around. Take a look, have fun's come out. Gonna get into the second map before too long. And right now, still just waiting on that MP start command to come out here. And right now, for those of you watching along at home, referee internet died. So waiting for our referee to get back in to the lobby to start this match. So for right now, just enjoying the background music as we wait for everybody to kind of recover here. And our wonderful streamer stepping in to the call of action. Gonna get into the second map of this best of 11. SHABEST looking to equalize here as Kyosu tries to get the first breakpoint in this match. Now with that being said, Kyosu actually finding the first drop between the two players at the moment, giving SHABEST a bit of a lead to work with. The name of the game in this map is handling all the brackets that come through in the later stages of this chart. And with that being said, SHABEST not having the best of times maintaining their accuracy from the early goings, the lead shrinking to about 0.1%, but they do still have the miss in the back pocket to work with. That's accounting for the bulk of the lead that they have right now, 3,000 points. The difference between the two players as we get into the first real break of the song. We're diving right back on into it, into the second quarter now. And still we continue on into the second third of the chart now. It is about 0.1% separating both these players. SHABEST still holding on to their full combo for moment as we continue on. Kyo's doing a really good job to recover from their earlier miss here. Only about 100 combo behind and able to make their advance now as SHABEST actually finds a drop going into the second half of the chart now. Oh, but Kyosu finds a drop in the interlude here. And a golden opportunity passes them by to start chipping away at this lead. So now with neither player above that 400 combo cap, this is basically level pegging for both of them as we continue on here. Last quarter of the chart still left to go here. And both of them are starting to take a little bit more damage in terms of their accuracy. But SHABEST actually going to find the combo break here, and Kyosu is now above that 400 combo cap. This is their golden opportunity to strike, and they are taking it, not finding the drop in return this go around. They have taken over the accuracy lead. They've taken over the score lead as well, but it's still not over yet. It can swing in an instant if they can't keep this ending clean, but SHABEST is the one finding the drops here, not answered back as we make our way into this ending. And it looks like Kyosu might have done just enough when all was said and done to take the first break point in this match to make it 2-0 now. So now we wait for Kyosu to make their second pick in this match. And it looks like it's going to be LN3 coming through here. So Crush Alcohol going to be the pick for them. They look pretty comfortable on Life is Piano. See how they look on a dedicated LN chart. Alrighty, and right now just waiting on the players to ready up. It'll be a wonder of how long the download takes this time around.
Yes, this will be the true sight reading experience after all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always like to say it's like the easiest way to avoid mind blocking a map is to just never play the map at all. Don't even download it. Why even bother? Just do it in match.
Yeah. I mean, especially there's no SV, so you don't really have that kind of worry.
Exactly. There's nothing to memorize. You just just hit the notes. It's that easy. They come down all the time the same way.
Exactly.
So right now, just waiting for the next download to come through. We are operating at literal pre-DSL rates.
Seems it should be good to go, or it's probably just a false sense of hope. Oh, it's about 10 seconds. So
Oh, lovely.
it's not too bad.
It's one of the fastest ones we've had. Maybe the internet's starting to get the memo that they're kind of busy right now. They need this to be a little expedient.
Exactly, and should be good to go as the start command comes in. Hopefully, this doesn't really affect SHABEST's pace in terms of taking probably 3 minutes, 4 minutes of break. Really,
Yeah, it feels like a session where you're just starting and stopping all the time to kind of do other things in the meantime. They probably had enough time to check their socials or something in between every map.
starting right in with simple-ish Ellens for starters. We haven't get to the spicier stuff yet.
Yeah, this one kind of flies off the handles towards the middle portions of the chart. And given the propensity for both of these players, I was just about to say the slider breaks are going to be of the utmost importance to avoid as SHABEST finds the first break in this chart. Kyosu building up this lead for the moment.
Alright, seems... second drop actually by SHABEST. The accuracy does still relatively around the same if it weren't those misses.
Yeah, able to keep the drops relatively clean, but is starting to take a little bit of damage as they start to accumulate here. A little bit of a break section for the players to work through, build up some combo, and basically stabilize as they make their approach into the back half of the chart. Now about 0.5% the lead for Kyosu and 14,000 points in the back pocket of her cushion. But a mystery coming through here and a pretty nasty slider break on the side of Kyosu, going to give SHABEST an opportunity to start chipping away at this lead.
It might have been an overhold actually, given now SHABEST's accuracy is beating Kyosu, and actually the lead is taking the lead now for SHABEST.
Yeah, but it's not over just yet. There's still a third of the chart left to go. This is a very fragile lead as SHABEST finds the drop.
Find the weird drop in just out of all places. And it's now, the lead is just everywhere now.
Yeah, this is a very deceptively hard section. You have all these chords coming through. Sure, they're all basically 1-2s, but it can fall away in an instant. And Kyosu finding the first drop, not traded back here by SHABEST. They are now over the combo cut, but they find the miss and return right out of that section. And that was the best opportunity that they had to start clawing back some of this lead. But it is to the tune of 20,000 points now in favor of Kyosu as we make our way into this outro.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting that SHABEST is when they hold to like the 1/2 snaps, it's just the releases are way too early, so that constitutes this kind of a act difference right there, about 18,000, even with a couple of misses.
Yeah, you can basically attribute most of those 200s that they got to that ending, like you were saying, just releasing early to try and keep themselves in rhythm as to what was being asked of them, and paying the price for it when they did find the drop gave Kyosu a pretty big cushion to work with, and they're able to take the point and make it 3-0 as we go into Rice 6 now.
Seems we're going to venture around more into the well, I would say just more the wilder wildcard picks, and this is one of them.
Yeah, as the pool expands, the styles of charts start to differentiate, and we might be needing to strap in here for a bit of a long one in terms of waiting.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically, I mean, a lot of difficulties in this map set doesn't really change all that much. Really, it's just a couple that isn't attribute to a lot of like what MP3 files or audio files or whatever.
Yeah, the audio files, and then yeah, it just all those megabytes add up, and if you're operating on kilobits, it's it can feel like an hour.
Well, I guess, yeah. Unless there's a video about it. Well,
Oh.
I mean, it could be disastrous.
For sure, that's basically you're asking the computer to climb Mount Everest at that point. It's like at the end of the day, people need to remember this. These things are just piles of sand that we have tricked into thinking for us.
This could turn into a legitimate strategy of actually, just, side rating the whole experience. That's it, actually.
Sight read the whole pool, don't download the maps, and do this while knowing that you have horrible internet. It is the method. That's gonna be the new tournament meta. Forget stalling meta. We're just existing. We're just existing.
I mean, you could combine stalling and then you just side reading them. You just have you gain.
Oh, I got through.
Oh, all right.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness, the vamping tactics work as well. We're hurrying the internet along through pure shame alone, and we get into the fourth map of this best of 11.
Yeah, hopefully this will be the kind of pick that SHABEST is gonna have to do, especially this longer one. And you would expect SHABEST to do very well on the longer ones, especially with this kind of simpler rhythms.
Yeah, misses and just accuracy drops in general won't be as punishable as we go along because of the length of the chart, but if you let them start to accumulate, it can become a bit of an insurmountable climb before too long. SHABEST actually finding the first drop out of this introduction was before that 400 combo cap, though.
Yeah, Kyosu did actually drop like 99 to 98, basically. Just try. Actually, there's a lot of 100s there from Kyosu. Might have actually offset the difference.
Yeah, it seems like they have these moments where they tend to either rush or just really drag out some of these patterns to try and maintain the combo. And sure, at the expense of accuracy, it's a bit of a double-edged sword that they're playing with, but they have managed to avoid cutting themselves here. It drives me insane whenever I see ghost tapping happening, especially because so many things can go wrong whenever that happens, but able to avoid the worst of it.
Rush of 200s.
It's again, they seem to enjoy playing with fire. I think we've come to expect that now from this match. As we continue on here, still holding on to the FC, SHABEST doing very well to recover some of their accuracy and some of that combo as well. It starts to chip away at this lead as we see some of those bad judgments come through on the side of Kyosu.
SHABEST is catching up in accuracy just on that alone, but it's still like the second half of this chart remaining, and Kyosu finally finding the drop. Actually,
pretty clean overall.
Yeah, one miss could swing this over.
At the very least, it'll chip away at this lead, and SHABEST already making up about 5,000 points of that deficit. As we make our way into the back half, Kyosu finding another drop, and the lead immediately shifts on over.
Might have actually hitting a little bit early than I expected from Kyosu there. Trying to chip away the combo, but it does seem to be penalizing the accuracy in a little bit. And another mistake could swing this like that.
Yeah, it's always that spacebar that gets in the way. As we continue on here, both players below that 400 combo cap, so nobody really able to pull away here for the moment, but Kyosu actually regaining the accuracy advantage, and with that the lead as they start to pull away now just a little bit. It's still a very fragile lead as we make our way into the last quarter of the chart.
There's a lot of accuracy drop there.
Yeah, full 4/10% coming through there. A rush of 100s coming through as they basically slam their way through that burst and able to handle it, but a massive drop on the transition. The hardest part of the chart does knock Kyosu out, as SHABEST takes about 25,000 points in terms of a score lead and about a full % in terms of accuracy difference as well.
dropping from a 98.7 to 97.9 is essentially a death sentence right there. And there's not that much remaining in the chart either. And SHABEST is pretty comfortably handling on that ending as well. I mean, there's this trade, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think it was decided on that nasty burst. It is the hardest part of this chart, and if you don't make it through it cleanly, stuff like this can happen where the wild swing comes through, and SHABEST notches our first point on the board, makes it 3-1 now.
There's an equalizer in terms of ratio, but the miscount is, especially when you look at the Kyosu's grab, it's just saying something that Dense's transition isn't really playing to his forte.
Yeah, for sure. So probably gonna want to stick with the more straightforward charts moving forward. Thankfully, that was SHABEST's pick, so probably wouldn't have voluntarily gone into it. To be fair, they don't know what any of the charts look like, so we'll go into LN1 now as we transition on back into the bottom half of the pool.
More LNs coming out here. This is you would expect Kyosu to do very well, especially on the ratio side, but there's also more prone to choke, especially how it was served charts most of the slower-ish releases or longer releases that tends to let go of one long note after the other.
Yeah, it can become a bit of a mental slog to get through some of these structures. It's very easy to just let go of one of your keys inadvertently.
And we actually forgot that we still have one more issue about this, so
Yeah.
we're still gonna have to wait. We're investing so much into the match that we actually forgot we have that one other issue. Seems to be a good information.
We need to get back to shaming the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We need the entire country to basically lend their power to Kyosu's computer in particular. Just prioritize the download.
For some reason, the download is even more high than the match itself, and it's actually going in.
These are the moments we live for in tournaments. Just stuff like this is the best part about it. As we get into the fifth chart of this best of 11, Kyosu looking to try and make it 4-1. SHABEST looking to try and take one of those breakpoints back.
I already like the ghost house in the intro from Kyosu, but I mean, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you gotta keep yourself in rhythm from the get-go, but when you don't know the chart, you don't know where those notes are going to be.
You would expect the more 200s on the LN releases, and this would be the case. It's just a matter of where you're actually slipping up on the combo and just maybe letting go on the LNs.
Yeah, so probably gonna see the players start to dip down slowly but surely as this map goes along. We already see SHABEST going down into that 98% range. Kyosu still keeping their head above the 99% mark, but it's really going to come down to who finds that crucial slider break at the inopportune time as we make our way into the second quarter of the chart now.
Oh my god, this is actually getting closer now.
Yeah, both players holding on to their FCs for the moment. SHABEST able to bring it back up here to try and match up against Kyosu here. It's inside of 0.1% now as we continue on. Both players holding on to their FCs for the moment. The structure's not giving it too much of an issue for the time being.
Looking really scared on how people are actually overholding this, and does seem to be an issue. Like SHABEST one actually taking a drop there.
Yeah, first one of the map so far, and it gives Kyosu a little bit of breathing room to work with now as SHABEST finds another one to help extend this lead for the moment. It was in the break section, so not able to really extend or exacerbate this advantage for the moment, but as things start to pick up, you imagine that Kyosu is going to be able to start pulling away here, especially with that next drop.
already about 3 to 4 drops in total, and sheer accuracy by Kyosu right there is actually keeping him afloat for a while.
Yeah, it looks like they're very comfortable on this chart so far, already crossing that 2,000 combo threshold, already still holding on to their FC, but as I say, finding the slip up.
Letting go of that one long note before it actually holds even further, but it does seem SHABEST also taking a bit of more damage, especially on the accuracy with those streams.
Yeah, for sure, but we're already into the last eighth of the chart now. Kyosu still above that 99% mark, and SHABEST does trade the miss back eventually. Another one to boot as well. And despite that little hiccup, Kyosu's still riding about 26,000 points of an advantage for Moment as we make our way to this outro.
This would be a one slider break run from Kyosu, and it's actually pretty disgusting to see only one slider break on the entire chart. Like, look at that.
But that being said, the ratio difference between these two players is so tight between them. The 200 counts maybe just a little bit of a discrepancy, but it could easily swing either way. And the fact that Kyosu was able to keep that run a little bit cleaner overall helped ensure them able to secure the point as we go into Rice 5.
This is SHABEST's best pick. Well, I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, kind of does. It kind of does make sense, especially with you would go for denser transitions on the last pick. Going into this is just more into it's just playing fire with fire, and Kyosu's immediately already having to not having to wait.
Let's go, building up some momentum here as we make our way further along. The shaming tactics have worked. The internet is back being somewhat responsive. As we get the MP start command, we're going to get into the 6th map now. Kyosu on the cusp of making it a match point situation. SHABEST with a point on the board. We have seen this before already this weekend. Do not count SHABEST out just yet as we make our way into Rice 5.
All in the bulk of the difficulty comes into the second half of this chart. There's some more brackety type-ish patterns. There's some bits of rolls here and there, but all you have to do is just keep in combo, and you would basically in a safe haven right now.
Yeah, both players handling that introduction very well, taking a considerable amount of damage to their accuracy, but very importantly, holding on to the FC, not extending an advantage one way or the other for the Moment. 2/10 the gap between the players, and 1,300 points is the margin to play with at the moment.
There's still a bit of 0.3% difference in terms of accuracy, but even so, there's a miss by SHABEST right there. But again, we still haven't reached the second half just yet, so it might have been some collapse right there for Kyosu to be able to come back.
Yeah, and as we cross into the back half of the chart now, SHABEST finding a break on the transition, going to help extend this lead for Kyosu, but since it was going into this break section, not going to be able to balloon this lead out of proportion, but once we get back into it, it's going to start to pull away now in favor of the red side. Still a quarter of the map left to go, but it is dire straits for SHABEST. They need to keep it clean, and Kyosu does eventually find a drop here.
Does find a draw, but it's not looking to be enough because SHABEST is also hitting very early.
Yeah, maybe just trying
Actually
to keep
getting
themselves
closer.
able to chip away at this lead. 10,000 points being taken away in an instant as Kyosu found another couple of drops there in that section. Starting to make the road to recovery here. Going to stem the bleeding a little bit, but unable to hold on to it.
Oh my god, that's a 6,000 just by a bit there.
Oh, if that map were maybe like 10 seconds longer, there might have been an outside shot for SHABEST to take that, but it is, in fact, a match point situation. The break point coming through here for Kyosu to make it 5-1 and push SHABEST up against the ropes here, fighting for their tournament life now.
The score, the difference is literally just comes out of the back end of this chart, and SHABEST hitting early makes quite a bit of a deficit there, especially with this ratio. Kyosu is coming out on top this time. looking like this could be a little story to tell, especially. There you go, the last LN of this pool coming out here.
Yeah, one of the harder LN picks. Pretty notorious pick. I think you explained it yesterday during one of our other matches. The history of this chart.
Not necessarily hard, but it's just that one. The outer trill end, like the 676 column, is it's just stripping everyone up. Not necessarily not because they can act them, but you can't really physically hit them. Especially, it's really on the outer end of the scale.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how both players handle that particular pattern, as Kyosu not needing to take that much time to download this one as well. Thank goodness for that. It is, once again, match point situation for them. If they can close this out, we won't have to worry about downloading any more maps, at least for the time being. They do have another match to contend with this weekend, but they'll have half the map pool downloaded this time, so maybe they can work on getting the other half.
Yeah, and if SHABEST did actually pull off a breakpoint, this would be even longer than you would expect for the matchup, because you have to download the rest of the pool.
For sure. Imagine we get the reverse sweep. That'll just leave Kyoto with one map left to download, and they might even they could just ban it and not have to worry about it. As SHABEST actually finds the first drop here very early on. There's still plenty of time for them to recover. This is about 3 minutes of chart they have to slog through, so not going to give over too many points this early on, but that hill can quickly become a mountain if you're not too careful here.
There's a miss right there. There's a bit of a trade, but after all, this is really just a simpler LNs. We haven't got to the spicier trill transitions. Not necessarily longer, denser LNs. It stays the same throughout. And actually, Kyosu's find another drop there, so SHABEST takes an early lead once we get to this patterns here.
Yeah, and then those little 3-note trills start to kind of chip away as you try and maintain that and all the basically cross-hand holes that you have to deal with, and both of them actually managing to hit them pretty well, only giving up maybe a couple hundredths of a percent in terms of their accuracy. Both of them hit it the first time.
Another one coming out soon-ish after that.
And they hit it again. Looks like they're not going to get tripped up too much by that pattern in particular, but it is still early goings. We're only crossing into the second third of the chart now. Kyosu's still holding on to the accuracy advantage. SHABEST holding on to that extra miss in the back pocket, and that's accounting for a bulk of their lead at the moment.
It's actually the accuracy looking a little bit worrying, especially when Kyosu is rapidly gaining now. And it's actually, the lead is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, they're able to.
Smaller.
Yeah, they're just chipping away at it slowly but surely. That
is that a miss?
I saw column 5 go off there, and I think that is an organic miss. So, that being said, SHABEST is trading it back.
Wait, no. This actually is still holding on.
Oh, good. Okay, so that was the client miss that we were expecting. As we continue to make our way through here, SHABEST taking a little bit of damage through that section, but able to hold on to the combo for the moment. But Kyosu, once again, going to be able to start chipping away at this lead as we continue on. Still a quarter of the chart left to go, and it's 3,000 points the difference. It takes about 2 to 0.3% to start pulling it back, so it's going to be up to SHABEST to hold on here.
We're all holding our breath because this is essentially one miss difference and another one by Kyosu there. This lead is still not safe, especially with how accuracy difference up until the end of this chart.
I think that's a client miss as well. Waiting for it to recover. I see the lead swing over to Kyosu. I don't see the combo recovering. That might have been an organic miss. Okay, there we go. It recovers. The heart and mouth moments continue. We're down to the last sliver of chart. There's not a lot of time left, but it can. I mean, it's 9,000 points. I don't think there's any coming back from this. But as we make our way to the last couple of notes, it is going to be SHABEST hanging on here.
Finally hanging on, and with actually just a one miss on the intro. It looks like.
Yeah, reverse choke on that run. And SHABEST picks up their second point here, staves off elimination for at least one more map as we continue on here.
As we continue on to making sure that Kyosu is going to download another map, and it's going to be the next hybrid. And looking like, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
I'm hoping it's a good thing. I'm hoping that's a oh my god in a positive way.
Also a good throwback that the actually not the last hybrid. There's still one more hybrid left, and I actually forgot that there are 3 hybrids in this pool.
Gotta love it. But for right now, we'll wait for the download to come through from Kyosu. And
Okay,
hybrid
looks like-
3.
Yeah, okay, looks like this is not a good way to say oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot of this. Yeah, because this is quite a legacy song to make up with, and there's like 4 key and 7 key difficulties in there.
Oh dear lord. It is what it is. But it looks like it might have figured itself out and we get into it sooner rather than later. It is going to be match point 2 of a possible 5 here, I believe. I forget how match points work, but same situation as last time. Kyosu on the precipice of punching their ticket into the second half of quarterfinals. SHABEST looking to try and stave off elimination to get to that tiebreaker.
I think we've all learned that this chart, we've seen on the previous match that all point of contention is this really hard spike at the last 10 seconds. And that is going to happen for these players to nail the transitions or maybe mitigate more misses, basically.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as we continue along. And right now it is Kyosu building up quite a bit of a accuracy gap between the two of them. It's about 0.25% at the moment, despite both players doing really well through the section. SHABEST actually picking up a drop in that opening quarter, and it's going to give Kyosu a bit of 10,000 points to work with.
Oh, actually, Kyosu is maybe a little bit dangerous on the hitter. There's quite some inconsistency, and SHABEST is not quite that far off, and actually accuracy is staying maybe relatively closer, actually.
Yeah, closer for sure. As we continue on here, it is about 0.5% now. The difference between the two players. Kyosu still holding on to their full combo for the moment. Back half of the chart still left to go, and we're still waiting to see how the players handle those last 10 seconds, because that can be a massive swing to keep SHABEST alive now.
They hit the mini jack, but no, Kyosu actually dropping after the mini jack transition. But actually, the accuracy for SHABEST isn't doing the hot. Actually, actually, Kyosu's drop actually quite even more severe now.
Yeah, bring SHABEST back into the equation. Kyosu really needs to watch out during this last section. Needs to keep it clean if they want to maintain this lead, because SHABEST is above that 400 combo cap, and they're slowly starting to chip away here. It's about 2,000 points. It's going to start closing down just a little bit more until Kyosu can make it above that 400 combo cap. Once they do, they should start to be able to pull away here because of that accuracy discrepancy. But here comes the ending, and Kyosu finds a drop.
Watch that last spike, because it's not over yet.
Okay, continue on here. Everybody, SHABEST finds a drop. Oh, they're trading back and forth.
God. That is it. Actually, SHABEST taking his own point. But man, that last spike did really trip them up. But it's not enough to pull the lead back in for Kyosu. That is one hell of a pick.
For sure. And on we continue here. SHABEST looking to start getting a head of steam here towards the end of this match. Kyosu running out of picks very quickly. I think there's only one hybrid left in that lower half of the pool before they have to start diving into those rice picks, and it's going to be hybrid 2. We're going to close it out.
Ooh, actually, interesting to note that this hybrid is weirder in the sense that it would actually make some bits of advantage for SHABEST, especially with how quality is structured. You
Yeah,
already love that.
yeah, it's just weird that the background never loads.
Actually, yeah, it
Y-
doesn't seem to load for me as well.
Yeah, you just can't see it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can see the song title at the very
Yeah,
least.
that shows up just fine. I think that's just the right amount of metadata that we need. But looks like the Wi-Fi is back.
Yeah, Kyosu's Wi-Fi is so back that he doesn't need to download the background.
Well,
Because there's-
exactly.
anything.
That helped. They didn't need to. The background isn't there, so they don't need to download those elements. And we get on into this next map. SHABEST still on the road to recovery, the road to the tiebreaker. A couple of steps have been taken, a couple of breakpoints as well. Gonna need to take this one and their next pick to take this to tiebreaker.
This pick is short, so any miss matters. That's the client, probably.
Client, yep.
Actually, the accuracies are tightly knitted now, but there's some LNs that are overhauled. Actually, Kyosu and SHABEST actually. Oh, actually, the accuracy is even closer now.
Yeah, these two just seem to be in lockstep with each other in terms of these drops at the moment. And it's...
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness, they are not giving each other an inch to breathe, but SHABEST finding a pretty nasty drop down into the 96% range now, and Kyosu rides off with about 20,000 point lead as SHABEST not able to build up any semblance of combo at the moment. Sure, Kyosu found a couple of drops as well, but able to keep them relatively clean in the exchanges and comes out on top for the moment. 30,000 points is the deficit between the two players. We have seen wider score gaps get eliminated in an instant, but there's only a quarter of the chart left to go.
And I'm looking scared right now because it's still last quarter of it, but I'm kind of guessed that this would be the harder section at the very least.
As SHABEST finds another slider break towards the very end of the chart, and that could very well be the final nail in the coffin for their tournament run here. And Kyosu successfully staves off this relentless comeback from SHABEST and closes it out by a score of 6-3.
Yeah, congratulations to Kyosu for making it off. And actually, I will have to fight one more time for the second match for the quarterfinals for him, and especially given the next opponent is no slouch, because I think Kyosu will be facing Era Jungle, it seems.
Yes, it is going to be Era Jungle in a couple of hours' time, unless that gets last second reschedule. But with that being said, that will do it for this match. Congratulations to Kyosu once again for continuing on here. Commiserations to SHABEST, but put up a valiant effort to take some points there and cause a bit of a tiebreaker scare there. And we're going to continue on with this block of matches. The next one coming up is going to be Unitori going against Playboy Cardi here in about 3 minutes. But we're gonna.
It's literally one shy away from actually not taking a break at all. So we're still diving in. We're still diving in.
Yeah, but I think right now we're gonna take the stream down for a little bit. Gonna swap out the streamers, give our current one a bit of a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with that next match. So don't go anywhere, y'all.
Yeah, just stay right there until the next match.